Viviana, no se salga. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is Eleazar Santos. Today is November 19, 2019. This is our 15th encounter for this intermediate English 1. This is Group B. Today, we have 4 people online. I want to say hello, Jorge. Good morning. Welcome. How are you today?
Hi, teacher. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
All right, good. Good your effort. Juan, good morning. How are you today?
Um, Teacher and partners, good morning. I am ready.
Okay. Lori Lynette, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, guys. I'm fine, and you?
Really good. Fine. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Viviana was online, but she went out. Okay. Maybe she comes back later. Okay. Let's start with the topics that are designed for this encounter for you today. As part of your learning process, these encounters have been designed for you to have one opportunity to speak and maybe to have some background in your
Mm.
learning process. Okay?
Jorge, please
Okay.
turn off your microphone, please.
Yes, Jorge, maybe you need to put it.
Uh,
Yeah,
my
thank you.
ears. Yeah.
Okay. And as part of the learning process, you need to have in mind that we are learning a second language in a kind of hostile environment. When people go to study another country, Canada, Europe, United States, maybe it's easier for them to develop the skills, to get along with the language. But we here in South America, after Mexico and going down Central America, South America, we only listen Spanish, we only listen Spanish. So if you are learning English, it's hard, okay? It's hard, it takes time, and you need to struggle really hard to move on in your learning process. But we need to think that we as teacher, official teacher, you need to work in the 4 skills because the final benefit is for your students, okay? Remember, we need to work in the listening, speaking, reading, writing. And you need to work in the 4 skills, and you are the only one who knows really how helpful are the strategies, the methodologies, how the strengths are the methodological strategies you are using by yourself for your own learning process. The idea, as the question number 1, is to know what is your strength, and what is your weakness, skill you have. Again, you consider and you need to know yourself, okay? What is your better part in your English, and in what part you have really problems, in what skill you need to improve a lot, okay? Lori Lynette, which do you consider is your strength, is your strongest and your weakness skill in the English language? Lori.
Okay. Well, teacher, I think that my strength is I consider that I had a good fluency in English. I'm very good talking and speaking, and uh, and I had a lot of vocabulary because I practice so much. And even if I don't know one word, if I can see that word, I know or I had a notion or an idea how I can pronunciate that word. So I think that is one of my strengths, or is my strength. And one of my weakness, or sorry, one of my weak, or I think is that sometimes when I'm reading or I'm listening something, if I don't know one word and I'm looking for the meaning, uh, maybe if I see the word again in the same document or in the same listening practice, I completely forgot, and I don't know why. And I think that yes, I need to see that word. I need to write that word and looking for the meaning, and maybe practice a little because I completely forget. and I don't know why. And that happened to me one with a few words. Last week I was reading one document of the university, and I see the word moreover. Yeah, and I see
Moreover.
what is that word? Yes, moreover. And okay, what is? And I looking for the meaning, and I okay, yeah. And that word it was in all the document, and I'm still forget that word, and I don't know why. And sometimes happens me that. So I think that is 1 week. I tend to forget some words, and I don't know why. Why?
Okay, thank
That's
you.
it.
Okay, thank you. Jorge, for you, maybe what you consider is the strongest and the weakest skill you have in English language, Jorge.
Um, okay, teacher. I think that my strongest ability, I mean, is something like my decision to study English. You know, my strongest is something like the way that you start to practice every day. If I don't if I don't have a person who practice with, I try to search in dictionary book in the dictionary some words that I don't know. It is one of my strongest skills, you know. The listening, I try to be a good listener. Um, Another strongest is I have a good writing, you know. Um, what else? I also have a good um, well, all the skills I have I try to be an equitative way to develop my all my skills, you know, the writing, the listening, the speaking. But I think that that my weakness could be when I stop practicing, you know, because I start to lose the ability to speak English, right? So it's I don't know if it's a weakness, but I always try to speak and practice. But I think it could be a weakness, not to practice every day.
Hmm? All right. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that's good. And for you, Juan, what is the strongest and the weakest skill do you consider?
Teacher, I consider that my strongest skill is to write because I I see when I to write and don't told me I know English and you know sometimes you write is easy in any situation or any topics. Uh, so so when you talking with the right to write or or explanation or a topic with you right is difficult. Is difficult the pronunciation or the or sometimes you listen the 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 music or a top different top. And my weakest skill is pronunciation because I practice with record my voice and listen me is terrible my voice is terrible my pronunciation. So I think that.
Hey, come on. It's not as you say. Okay, thank you. Uh, okay, Viviana, for you, what is the strongest and the weakest you have?
Yeah, teacher. I consider that my strongest skill is the reading and reading. I like to read several short text conversations. Thus, I understand the conversation. I know new words. For example, I like the practice, the grammar games or lessons. And weakest skill,
Weakest skill.
weakest skill is the listening. Sometimes it's hard for me understand when the someone is talking. Yeah. And so I prefer that great me for I understand.
Okay, yeah, that can happen. Okay, don't worry. Any of us has one that is strong and that one that is weak, or maybe two. Okay, and the same for students. It's the same for the students. So the idea or the reflection is the students are the same. I am student, you are student, and you will have students under your control. Okay, and sometimes for somebody it's easier to read, for others it's easier to speak, for others can be easier to write, and everybody is different because everybody has different styles of learning. Okay, so don't worry about that. Again, as part of the learning process, you need to be in contact, in constant contact with the English language. If you were learning this course face to face in a classroom, or maybe you had the opportunity to be in Australia, in New York at this time, attending the face-to-face class, maybe would be easier for you, because you listen music, you watch television in English, you read all the signs in English. When you go on the street, people speak in English. It's hard for us in here again in Latin America, but you need to keep in contact with English anyway, okay? At any way. Lori, how do you keep in contact with English? How are you in that close contact with English language?
Okay, I have to say that in this semester, I'm seeing 7 subjects in the university, and 5 of that subjects are in English. So I'm in touch with the English every time.
Yeah.
But I consider that uh, one I can keep in touch with the English completely with my cell phone, because a few months ago I decided to change the language of my cell phone. So I had my cell phone in completely English. I
Correct.
I I don't have my cell phone in Spanish. And one way to practice every day, at least 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, is because in your cell phone, if you slide to the right, you can find the news. So I try to to read, and always I find a new vocabulary, and if you think about it, in the news you can find entertainment, you can find social things, you can find I don't know, maybe scientists, and obviously there are vocabulary for those topics. So you can, it's one way to I don't know, maybe practice new vocabulary that maybe in the university you can find. So I recommend you to do that. It's very good, and there are words that maybe you can use, but a native speaker use another's. Like I can, for example, documents. I say documents and that's, but when I translate my cell phone, I found files. They say files instead of
Files.
documents. So that's one way of that you can use words that maybe they use more than others. So I think it's one way, and you can keep in touch all the time.
Yes, great. For you, Jorge, how do you keep in touch with English?
Okay, teacher. Well, I think we can reach those goals about English. To have a good speaking we need to practice, right? We need to practice it. I don't say that every day, but you should practice the most time possible, right? For example, if you want to improve your I mean, your speaking, you should practice. You want to improve your writing, you should write. You can write. I don't know, histories in your notebook. You can write. You can put yourself some homeworks. Something like no achieve to go some achieve to reach. So I think it's very important to practice, but in my case it's very important to practice speaking, right? It's one of the most important things for me, because I think that if you are a good speaker, you can write your vocabulary, you can write your writing, because you know all the words, and you can write that. You can and in the listen, if you practice speaking, you can improve and get better your listening, right? Because you can understand all the words, something like that.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Thank you. What about you, Juan? How do you keep in touch with English?
Teacher, I think that practicing practicing different different anything. For example, watching videos. I like watching videos. I follow Elisa for YouTube. She's a American woman. For is a teacher for the YouTube. I like the her videos. I like this teacher. So I like read any story or magazines. Uh, I listen I listen news or for other countries. Maybe sometimes I don't understand anything, but you get used the here for for the uh, English language. So I like practice writing in the app, for example, Duolingo, and others apps, chatting with my friends in English. For example, 3 hours, 2 hours ago, I work out in the gym with my friend. I practice English. How do you say that? How do you say this? Is sometimes it's good. Uh, he can me for the for the practice with me, and I practice with her. So no more. I like that.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, good insights. And for you, Viviana, how do you keep in touch with English?
Yeah, teacher. I practice with lessons in internet or in short courses online. Also in the apps in my phone, watching videos in YouTube of people that touch the language, give me or give you tips or suggestions uh, for the pronunciation, for the talking in the English. Um, I going to practice the pronunciation of the words now. It does I know new words, new
Great,
vocabulary.
great, Viviana. Thank you. That's the way, Viviana. Okay, that's really good. Okay, thank you. Uh, For next question, consider if you are a teacher or you are thinking in becoming a teacher. But if not, think, okay, what would you like to teach, okay? Because as member of this career, you know, it is supposed the university is getting you the tools and the resources to become in a teacher, okay, in the best possible way. But finally, the person in charge of making the decision is any one of you, okay? Do you prefer to teach children or teenagers or adults? Okay, again, consider if you are not a teacher or you're not thinking and becoming a teacher now, maybe later, okay? What would you like to teach? Okay, Lori, what do you prefer to teach? Children or teens or maybe adult people? Come on.
Okay, I have to say that I had no preferences because I had the opportunity to teach children and teenagers, and now I'm teaching to one adult. So I like to teach, and I don't care if I teach kids or adults or teenagers. It's just that when you think to if you think about it to teach kids, you know that you need to find tools uh, for attack their attention. So when I teach to kids, I remember that I looking for games, pictures, activities with so much colors because I need that these kids see the English like in a beautiful way. So not like a nightmare or I don't want to do that. I want to yeah. I and but I would like to experimentate in all the in all the fields. You know, I hope finish my career and start with teens or maybe kids or both. I don't know because we are studying degrees, so maybe you start with teenagers. But I would like to become in a teacher of university. I would like to teach in a university and maybe both with teenagers and adults at the same time. But
Yeah.
I had no preferences. It's good to experimentate with all the fields, with kids, with teenagers, with adults, and maybe at that time you can realize if you want to stay with kids or with teenagers, and that's right. No problem with that. I had no problem with that.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Jorge, for you, Jorge, what do you prefer or what would you like to teach?
Okay, teacher. I think it's very important. I mean, for me, in my case, it's different, right? Because I try to be I try to teach in all the fields, you know. And if it, but we have to look that in, for example, for children, it's very different, right? It's very different for children because you don't have to. I mean, for example, children are more easy to drive, because you only put their it has a complication because if they have a problem, the children have a problem, you have to keep in contact with their fathers, with their parents, and you should solve some situations with children. But for example, in the case of teenagers, it's different because they are not if they are in schools, you can, I mean, you shouldn't be communicating with their fathers, with their parents, excuse me, because they are more, independent.
Mhm.
So it's different in the case of adults. Is I mean is so much different because you all in the most of the case you only have to teach the topics, or for example the future, the past, the present, and on all the on all their structures, and you don't have to be with your eyes, on them, you know. It's different, but in the I prefer, well, I like to teach to everybody, but or everyone, but it's more easy to teach for children.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Juan, for you.
Teacher, the two opinions for my partners is very important because at Lauri, I see the good experience and Jorge. But in my case, I am not teacher, but uh, I I try teacher with my work. For example, I was to teach in my work. For example, for communication, cables, networks, anything topics. Always adults, maybe teens, but never children. I would like to have experience. I would like to have a to experience for the children. Jorge said that is good, so I would like to children at time at moment.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank
Tell
you.
me, Lauri, tell me.
No, it's just that I think that we need to be able to teach everybody. It doesn't matter their age. It's just that we need to be able, because if we are teachers, okay, we are teachers now. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but we need to be able to teach everybody. Doesn't matter their age. It's what I think, because it's not fair that you just dedicate to to teach teenagers and no more, and you never had the experience to teach kids. I think that doesn't make sense. You need to teach
Uh,
everybody.
Thank you, Larry. So, teacher, I don't. I have other opinion.
Uh-huh.
For example, my instruction for for my in my work to
Uh-huh.
teach other topics. I don't have any experience for the teach English language,
Uh-huh.
so uh, it's different, you know.
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally. Not totally, but kind of different. Okay. Okay. I reflect about that little bit. Okay. Viviana, and for you, what do you prefer?
Teacher, it's a bit complex with children. It's a challenge, of course,
Mm-hmm.
because they are very imperative
Mm-hmm.
and they want to play all the time. um, but that is our work.
Mm-hmm.
Touch their with precision and is we must be trained for that. Yeah, really, I prefer with teenagers or adults, even better because they are more dedicated and their performance is better. So I prefer more the teens or adults, more adults, but we disciplinate, good disciplinate, also the teens. No more.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, okay. Are quite different your opinions, huh? Just as a conclusion on this question, you need to reflect. Lori says that we as teachers need to be able to teach any person, at any age. Later, maybe in your careers, I don't know if you have seen that course already, there is one that is English for specific purposes. English for specific purposes. I don't know if you have studied that before in UNAT. And they gave you one idea how important it is to have clear opinion and to fix your goal to which point you want to teach, okay? It's true, it's not the same to teach children or teens or adult people. You can find adult people really committed, really responsible, really good people, adult people, that they go to the class because they want, because they need to learn, because they want a job, or I don't know. So they have different opinions and reasons, and they are really good students for you. There are others that really are hard to teach them and hard to learn, okay, different styles. And you need to reflect, okay, I like to teach adults, but what happens if those adults, they don't understand, they don't learn, they have backgrounds and they don't want to move out of that, you know, consider that. Another, when you talk about teens, maybe for some of you say, teens, yeah, they are in the middle age, it's good, can be fine, but for many people, it's a complete nightmare, okay? For some opinions we can listen from other teachers, when you say to teach teenagers, is a complete nightmare. Why? Imagine a classroom with 30 or 40 people falling in love, spending the time in the telephones, spending the time in silly things, completely disconcentrated, completely, I don't know, in opposition what they are listening from their teachers, in a very bad attitudes. Not all of them, of course, no. But you can consider those kind of environments and contexts that you need to face, okay? So all the teenagers are not easy to teach. All the teenagers are not bad people, of course, no. But we need to consider different options, you know? You say children can be easy, yes, maybe children are easier, you know, they are like sponge. All what they listen, they can grab, okay, they can learn, okay? Hey, but you need to be energetic, okay? They can distract as well easily. They like funny classes, you know, not traditional classes, okay? Imagine 30 children, 20 children, little children running around, shouting, throwing paper, forgetting the pencil, asking you for anything, complaining for everybody, asking for water, wanting to go to the bathroom, fighting with the partner, okay? Those are the contexts that we need to face, okay? Those are the contexts we need to face. So when you make the decision, okay, really, I would like to teach children, because you know what you're going to face, okay? I'm going to teach teens or adults, because you know how to teach, how to address, okay, how to get them, you know. So that is the reason we need to study a lot to know our students, you know, to know what is the motivation they have to go to the class every day. If not, you need to motivate them, you know, and push them, you know, and push them and help them with discipline, with a good strategy, with a good methodology, and attract the attention of the class, whatever the audience or the public can have, okay? It depends on what? Depends most of the time on teachers, okay? If you are prepared, if you prepare your classes, hopefully you will be fine. If not, your class for children or adults or teens can be a nightmare, okay? And you will not enjoy. That's the idea, okay? So it's just to reflect a little bit about it, okay? Thank you very much for your opinions. Again, next question. As part of the learning process, we need to have in mind that the technology nowadays is everywhere, you know? It's everywhere, the technology. And if you want, if you don't like, it doesn't matter nowadays. You need to know little bit technology. You need to use little bit technology in your classes, okay? Not just the traditional board and teacher center class. No, 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 okay? For adults, for children, for teens, you need to involve the technology in your classes, okay? At any way, okay, not all, because we have no infrastructure, we have no resources, no in all the classroom we have video beams or internet connection or smart boards. That is the idea, huh? but maybe at least little bit piece of technology. Okay, I'm gonna start with Viviana. Okay, Viviana, what kind of technology do you use in your classes, Viviana?
Yeah, teacher, it will be good, of course, take into account the things. For example, do you say the videos, video beam, podcasts, movies, exercise online, etc. Um, uh, Approach
Mhm.
the advance the technology. These do the class and the learning more interactive, emotional, interesting, and didactic, and also attract the attention of the student. Yeah.
Great, Viviana. Thank you. Juan, for you, what technology would you use in your classes?
Teacher, I would like to use videos and music and video bean for podcasts and uh, speaking interactive in movies, tutorial in the web, internet. So there are a lot of a lot of anything for for the webs. So I would like you to use that.
Mhm. Yes, thank you. Uh, Lori Lenet, what about you?
Okay. In my experience, I like to use some pages in internet where you can find exercise with pictures. But sometimes when I need to one of my students learn past simple, for example, there's a song of Adele called Set Fire to the Rain, and there are so
Great.
many verbs in past. So I put to my students to see, to watch the lyric and find the verbs who are in past. And it's a way very, and they are listening a song and it's beautiful and obviously Adele has an amazing voice, so it's fine. You can spend a good time with your student, and besides that, slices. Yeah, I think that I'm going to use slices, but prepare for that. I prepare myself as a one do as a one did. I need to one explain how he did all the slices very good, and and maybe videos
Thank you, thank
as
you.
as one says, yeah, videos that are very
Uh-huh.
important. Yeah, one did a good slices, you need to learn.
Yes.
uh, and but I think that songs, I'm
Mhm.
going to use songs. Maybe
Yes.
I can say then, okay, looking for a song that you really like, and looking for verbs, looking for a no vocabulary, and say me in a little words what the song is about.
Mhm.
It's a very good um, exercise, and the student can learn in a very good way, in a creative way.
Creative way. All right. Thank you. And for you, Jorge, what do you use?
Okay, teacher. Well, I always try to use the way that the people touch me English, right? For example, when I studied English, it was in 2002. I mean, the way that they use it to teach was to use labs. For example, labs is like videos. It's something in a room and they put videos. For
Mhm.
example, foreign people speaking English. For example, you have to you have to say what is the meaning of those words, or how to practice those speakings, those conversations. You have to practice those conversations, about that, about a topic, whatever topic that in the video we can watch. They also in the, I mean, the time when I started to learn English, they also used audios. The Christmas song. You remember? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, teacher, I was.
Good background.
Yeah. Well, I try to learn English too with songs. They put songs, and you have to practice those songs and the rhythm. The rhythm of the songs, the rhythm of the letters, of the rhythm of the words. It's very important to practice. The writing could be, to write some text. For example, if you have an history to say, a history to share with us, or with the other partners, you can write a text, about what you want, about an history of an experience that you have, or an experience that you have had. Something like that, teacher, is like, I adopted those kind of teachings ways.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yes. Uh, Valuable opinions, okay, about the using technology. All of those tips, just apply them. You know if your students like, if they work, and if they work, hey, use it, okay? Because we need to involve with technology. People like that, okay? People like that. All students, young or old people, they like technology nowadays, so we need to use it in our classes, okay? As a final question, this should be your final reflection about the encounters, okay? The encounters are designed for you to have the opportunity to be in contact with English, but especially to develop the oral production, okay? Your oral production. It is good for you if you live in a place where you listen English all the time. But if not, this is the place that helps you at least for 2 months, 2 months and a half almost, to be in contact with English, okay? 2 or 3 days in a week. It's the opportunity for some that maybe say, I have no people around me to speak. I have no internet connection all the time to practice or to get videos, okay? So the encounters are designed for you to speak, okay? To develop the oral skill, the oral production. Tell me, okay, in your opinion, if the encounters are important, how important are the encounters? How stressful, how difficult can be the encounters, in your personal, in your very personal point of view? Because again, I know at this time, maybe Juan, after a long day of working, just want to go to sleep, but you are online. Okay, and maybe the other people in Colombia, today is Tuesday, is almost half of the day. You need to do another thing. You have family, work, and other responsibilities. So consider all the maybe the good and the bad things of the encounters, because I don't know if this is the last, maybe no, for any one of you. Maybe you will have more encounters. I don't know if you have had before another encounters, if you see difference, or what is your opinion, okay? I'm gonna start by Jorge asking, okay, what is the final reflection about these encounters by Skype, Jorge?
Okay, teacher. Thank you. Well, teacher, I like it a lot, the encounters, because well, the good thing, I start with the good things. It is very important because we can improve our English. We can get a better pronunciation. We can get a better knowledge, about vocabulary. You can learn about a lot of vocabulary with your partners. For example, there are a lot of words that I didn't know, but now I know it, right? For example, for example, you can improve writing, listening, speaking, and the another one I forgot it. You can have a moment with your partners to share experiences. You can have a moment to get relaxed, because I think speaking is to get relaxed. I mean, it's important to practice, but you can get relaxed because you can speak with other kind of people with different opinions about a topic, and it is very important for us, right? Because you can grow as a person, well, can I, what else? Well, and the bad things, I don't risk with so much bad things. I think, for example, in this moment, is a bad situation because I am in the streets and I can connect with in the at home. It's different, and I have with some problems with the security man that can have to take out me. uh, yeah, yeah,
Wow, man. Sorry.
Jorge today is
uh,
funny.
yeah. He's
Final
looking like a
encounter.
bad way. He's trying to say me something, but I don't care
Yeah.
of it. Well, teacher, what else? And another bad things could be the connection, because some
Mhm.
partners have had some bad connection, but it's not their blames. It's something problem that it could happen,
Yeah.
but not so much, teacher. It's something like that.
Okay. Thank you. You have more information later you can say. Okay. Thank you. Lori, for you, what's your opinion about the encounters?
Well, teacher, um, if we, well, I think that in this semester the classes weren't a nightmare, but because obviously you you are a good teacher and you give
Thank
us the
you.
opportunity to better to improve our English skills, because if we see our group in WhatsApp, we can see our feedbacks in every class, and the words are less in any class. That means that we are really improve our skill by speaking, obviously. And we had the opportunity to see how words we can write those words, and this is a good group, and we had the opportunity make mm, to maybe, I don't know, meet each other, and the opportunity to know what we do in our daily days and things like that. But we is hard and it's sad because we need to say goodbye, and obviously in the another semester we are going to have another teacher that maybe not as this teacher as Eliazar.
Come on.
So we need to
Come
get
on.
used to again to another partner, to another teacher that maybe didn't have the opportunity to improve, and maybe we didn't attend to those classes, and that's it. It's sad, but it's true. And yeah, in the last semester, my teacher was good and a good teacher, and obviously he effort to give us good classes, and he asking, okay, there's another topic, or there one topic that you don't understand, please tell me, and we can in one class I can explain to you, and we can do activities and things like that. Okay, but in another semesters, no. As I said before, where there were so much classes that I didn't meet my teacher. I don't know how he or she looked like, and obviously was a little worried because I maybe answer some question that the teacher tell me, and I don't know what was his or her face. It's like a, well, I'm doing this okay, I'm doing this bad or good. I don't know. And
Mm,
well, I think that obviously every person had a way to teach, and maybe he or she can be creative, maybe not, and we can get used to that teacher. So yeah, on this semester the classes are very good. I really enjoy, and I try to be in all this class. There are a few situations that may that were not in my hands, and maybe I can assist, but I had to give everything of me and had a good relation with you guys. And so I think that these classes and this semester were amazing. And I'm going to remember you until my last semester. So I'm so sorry. So
okay, don't worry. Okay. Thank you. Hey, it's Thursday, the last class today. Don't say bye yet. Okay, next Thursday. Thank you. Juan, for you.
Teacher, about encounters,
Mhm.
totally great for me because I learned a lot of for you for the partners. For example, can I see to be a teacher for your experience for the others experience for the partners. I learned a different. I listened. Sorry, listened different accents for for the other other partners. Um, so I learned a different vocabulary. So for example, I remember the first encounters I had a lot of nervous because I listened to Lori Jorge. Yeah, they are a fluency, and me
Uh,
a little English. So I was very nervous and I had a pride.
no, no way you can say that.
But
uh-huh.
We're partners.
but
We
the
can
second
keep
back the,
learning. We can keep
but
learning. That's not a problem.
uh, but the second encounters very very good for me. So I I forgot that nervous, forgot uh, anything. So the rulers for the teacher is was very important because I learned I learned about the rulers. For example, respect. For example, different opinions is very important. Uh, all topics or different situations. For me, in maybe 5 semesters, that encounters is the better for the process English learning. Thank you, teacher, and thank you, partners.
No, thank you for your comments. Thank you so much. Okay, and Viviana, how are the encounters for you? What's your opinion?
Teacher, I consider as for speak personality, I have advanced in the encounters. I have learning many things, and I have interest in more about the language, to learn the language.
Mhm.
The encounters have been more didactic and entertaining, um, more that anything I have learning to think in English all time. and thus can express it and develop the speech, the pronunciation, the talking. Um, in my experience, I have been good tutors, uh, kids, friendly, um, positions, etc. Where they permit that the students feel us comfortable talking and anytime. Yeah. This counter is the first where I talking a lot more. Yeah, because the others encounters uh, we see topics of English, but topics seen. Yeah. In this counter, for example, me investigate more, learning new words, and develop more the talking, the speaking. And for that, I advance for that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Viviana. Thank you for your comments as well. Okay, Lori is coming back. Maybe Jorge had problem with the security guard. Maybe he maybe he had to
Maybe
to
keep
go
the
another
cell phone.
place, or maybe someone stolen his telephone. I don't know. Poor Jorge. I don't know what's going on. No, maybe the security guard moved him from the from the Claro store. I don't know. Okay, later we ask him.
Yeah, and today
Uh,
we're surprise day in Claro.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he's okay now. Okay, thank you for your comments. Okay, remember this is a process. You know, the learning process never ends for any teacher. Okay, so a real teacher never ends learning. Okay, a real teacher never ends learning. Okay, never is never. Okay, and for your classes, fight as you have trained. Okay, fight as you have trained. Okay, remember my my motto, my American soldiers motto. Okay, fight as you have trained. Okay, it's really good. Prepare your classes. Okay, prepare your classes. Practice before. I know when you are in a private or public school, you have no time. Okay, I know you have no time. You are really full of activities and you have no time for anything. Okay, but try. Okay, try. If you want to speak, what you have to do? Speak. Okay. If you want to write, what you have to do? To write. There is no other way. There is no magical reason. Okay. There is no magical strategy. Okay. It takes time, but you need to struggle. Okay. You need to struggle. Be disciplined. Okay. Be disciplined. Be patient and practice. Okay. Practice all the time. Think in English all the time. Okay. Those were the purposes we established for the encounter, because when you have different topics, maybe you need, as Viviana said, you need to investigate, you know, you need to search for information, okay? And you need to get vocabulary. How do you get your vocabulary? Hey, this weekend, try to watch videos or any information about sports, for example. And you say, okay, I want to learn a little bit about vocabulary about sports, okay? Maybe next week or next weekend, you say, okay, I'm going to talk about a little bit, I don't know, environment, okay? Nature, okay? Study about that, learn a little bit, okay? And so on, okay? So you need to get vocabulary by topics, okay? By topics, not all, because we are not experts, okay? We are not full in English. Even we are not full in Spanish, our mother language. So we are not full in Spanish. We are not full in English. But try to get vocabulary. Try to get vocabulary the way you like, okay? music, television, videos. I don't know, but try to practice, okay? If you have friends that speak in English, try to speak in English, okay? Put your computer in English, put your telephone in English. Use the English all the time in your mind, okay? In your mind, okay? When you use the language, okay, the grammar, the vocabulary, all what you write on your notebooks, but when you apply, when you use it in your life, you will never forget. If not, just writing notes on a notebook and you finish the elementary, you don't know anything about English. You finish your high school and you don't speak English. And you have full notebooks full of information, but you don't use the information, you know. And if you use the same strategy for the university, you will finish the university and you will be a future teacher that don't speak English. Okay, use your English as much as possible, little by little, okay, little by little, in your mind, okay, in your mind, every single day, every single day. Those are my recommendations, and those were the purposes for these encounters, you know, to develop a little bit your oral production. This is our last. We will see you on Thursday for our final test. Okay, be relaxed. I'm here to help you just in case. You can let me know by my internal mail or by phone. And I just have to say thank you very much for being in these encounters all of these days. We talk again on Thursday, God willing. Okay, have a good night in Dubai, Juan, and have a good
Thank you.
rest of the day, Lori and Viviana in Colombia. Okay,
Okay.
see you on Thursday, God willing. Okay, bye bye. See you
Bye.
on Thursday, God willing. Okay, bye bye.
Have a good day.
Bye bye, teacher.
Bye.
Yeah, have a good day.
Bye bye.